Hi YouTube, this is a video for Tom's Nerd Stuff. It's the first in a while. I've been a bit busy lately to make any videos, and it's a bit of a change of format from what I normally do. I recently came into possession of one of the older black MacBook Pros. They're quite nice little laptops, and I thought it would be perfect for a little project of mine, because unfortunately there's nothing inside, it's just a case. I do, however, have the screen, and I do have a keyboard and mouse for it as well, and I happen to know they're USB compliant and should be a fairly easy thing to hack. As for the brains of the thing, my main intention for it is to use it as just a kind of Netflix movie watching machine, just to type things up, nothing too powerful. So I thought a little Intel Atom processor out of a netbook or something would be more than adequate. The board I chose for the powerhouse for the thing is a motherboard from an Acer Aspire ZG5. The reason I chose this here is because it's got the 1.6 GHz dual-core Intel Atom, which is reasonably powerful. It's enough for watching films and whatever else, and it also's got the GMA 950 graphics, which for a netbook, which is what this is originally from, isn't too bad at all. And also see, fits quite happily in there, or it will do eventually after a little bit of hacking, which will be the purpose of these videos. So in the first part of these videos, the thing I'm going to be doing is getting this 13-inch LED backlit screen to work with the netbook motherboard. So originally my plan was just to look up the data sheets for the 13-inch LED panel, and also for the 8.9-inch screen that the netbook was designed to work with, and kind of try and match up the connections as best as I could. I had limited success, as you see, with getting the backlight working. I did manage to get the backlight working, but when it came to connecting up the four twisted pairs and the EDID cables carrying the information about the screen resolution, it ended up just kind of not working. I got kind of lines across the screen, some sort of weird stuff, but nothing kind of resembling a picture. Last pin. Oh. Thank God that's over, and let's hope it wasn't all in vain. Let's hope we do actually get a picture. Right, let's test it out. Here goes. And fingers crossed this works. And again, if for some reason this doesn't work, I will have to use the VGA port. But this would be the preferable way to do it. So let's plug that in, and we will connect power. Hopefully we will see a picture. Perhaps not. Oh no, I don't think that's worked. Blast. Well, it's doing some strange things. That sure is strange. So I've purchased this LVDS to VGA boards off eBay. So this should let me connect it straight to the screen, straight to the VGA port on the netbook, which I've tested before on a monitor and know works absolutely fine. So in the meantime, I will get on with making the case for the screen, or fitting the LCD that I got into the MacBook screen case. So what I'm basically going to be doing here is cutting out a lot of the support parts for the screen for the old MacBook screen, and adding in my own kind of plastic pieces to just kind of hold the screen in place and make sure that it's the edges of the screen line up with the bezel. God, I've never seen that before. It's pulverised the centre of the wheel. I've really never seen that before.
The issues I described was bringing the screen up to the right height. So from this styrene sheet, I'm going to cut some small shims, and the purpose of these shims is just to sit on between the back of the LCD and the casing, and just give it a bit of rigidity and make sure it is the right height.
Okay, so you can see my VGA board from China finally arrived, which seems to be working okay. I've got Windows 7 Premium installed on the little hard drive, which I've just got for testing. So yes, it seems to be displaying okay. So with it all booted up, you can see it's not actually too bad as far as responsiveness goes, and it seems to be working okay. So let's try and fit it in the MacBook screen case. So as you can see, it fits pretty nicely in the spaces I've made up already. I think the bezel should fit on fine. Let's try it. Yeah. So a little bit of work needs to be done at the bottom on the bezel, just to get that either blackened out or to move the bezel up to there. I think I'll probably end up moving it up. Okay, so now I'm going to try and glue this piece in. I'm just going to tack the screen down with hot glue. It's not really structural, it's just to stop it shaking about really. Okay, so I've got that working. The screen cable is pretty delicate, to be honest, so I'm being pretty careful not to move it too much. And it's messy, but I'm going to be using a fair bit of hot glue just so it doesn't move an inch. Because these cables are really sensitive to how they're soldered and terminated, so I don't want to be re-terminating this and pulling this apart. Right, in the meantime, whilst I'm waiting for that to finish drying, pull the power out. Oh well, hope my hard drive's okay. Anyway, in the meantime, whilst I'm waiting for that to finish drying, or setting, I'm going to extend the wires for the Wi-Fi adapter because I want to get the screen completely sealed up and finished, and obviously we need the Wi-Fi adapter in there to do that. Okay, so the Wi-Fi adapter I'm going to be using for this is a Netgear one. It's the WNA 1100. I used it for about 6 months when I didn't have a Wi-Fi card. It's pretty good. It's not too slow, does the job. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue here. Again, sorry about the hot glue, it's just easy. And it works great if you need to pull the thing out later on. Okay, so let's put this on there now. And cracking these bits down on the top here. Cool, that looks pretty good. So we've got the screen cable coming out of here and the Wi-Fi cable there. Okay, so the screen is done. Could attach it to the body now. I'll probably have to change the camera angle for that. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm charging up a battery pack I bought as a second-hand one, and I've soldered this 5-pin kind of header between the battery pack and the board. This battery pack is only temporary. I'm not going to be using these lithium-ion cells, but what I do need is this charging board here. Now I found previously, because I actually had a battery pack for it, but I just desoldered the cells, soldered on my new battery, and actually found it wasn't working. And after a little bit of research, I found, because it's a safety feature of these boards, they've actually got a fair bit of electronics on them, and if they go below a certain voltage per cell, or all 3 cells, it actually locks the board and stops the battery ever being charged up again. This is to stop the lithium batteries getting too low and then being charged up again, which means that they can explode. Which means, for my purposes, when I disconnected the cells, it's obviously done this to the board, so that the board is no longer working. So I bought an untested battery off eBay for not very much. So I'm just charging it up now. It's up to 8%, so luckily I think the battery is okay, and I've been very careful not to disconnect the cells. This is the battery I will be eventually using. It's obviously much bigger, it's flatter, and it's a lithium polymer chemistry, not a lithium ion. But that shouldn't be a problem for charging, because it's obviously charging quite slowly relative to what these cells would normally be charged at. So what I'm doing at the moment is, I know these are roughly 3.9 volts per cell at the moment, which is about kind of a middle ground voltage. This one is completely flat. So what I'm going to have to do is connect the grounds together, and then charge them up to close to the same value, and then with a low value resistor I'm going to have to kind of basically balance the cells to each other, and then snip one off, and then do that for the next one, and then finally for the third cell. And basically I'm going to be transferring power from this battery to this battery without this board ever actually losing power, which is a little bit kind of tricky, and obviously working with lithium batteries you've got to be pretty careful. So 2 batteries are kind of close enough in voltage, so I'm going to put this 10 ohm resistor between them and kind of balance each cell individually. So that's got 0.126 volts between these 2 cells, these 2 here. And I'm actually going to do this through the multimeter on amps mode. Okay, we're getting about 11 milliamps here.